Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream here of the Bot Squad. Um, we may have our two members may or may not be showing up, Lanaya and Willie. But in the meantime, you got me and Gus. So Lash and Gus, we've tag teamed it before, and we do just fine on our own too. Um, which now that I'm thinking about it, like since we've been doing the podcast, I've uh, I think outside of maybe two, like I don't think I think I'm the only one that's been on every single live stream and podcast, and I've done one on ones with you, Willie, and Lanaya. It started out with just
Yeah, it's a little funny, but you know what? It is what it is. Life gets in the way. Some of
yeah,
us, have very demanding work schedules or school or whatnot. Not to say that you don't, but it's just sometimes our schedules don't link up, and it is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, we're gonna talk about some different things here. We're gonna talk about Doomsday and trailer. Um, we'll get into a little bit of the disgust and everything around wrestling right now and the current product. And and I guess we'll kick off with just a small, shout out to Dolly Parton passing away, 80 years old here. Um, Definitely one of the most influential female singer songwriters of all time. Um, she had a lot of great hits, and she's also someone too that like even as she got older and she got plastic surgery and all that kind of stuff done up to her. It didn't seem to ever take away from like the spirit and fact that she just seemed like a genuinely good and nice person. And she went out of her way to like, I did see a video message by the family from her nephew who he's been head of security for her for the last 20 years. He took over after his dad was her security guard for like almost 30 something years. Um, and that's the thing too that woman has stayed relevant through people wanting to do her music and cover her songs that she wrote and fantastic voice, fantastic person. Yeah, sad to
Yeah,
see it.
yeah. What else can be said that you haven't covered? I mean,
Yeah,
dude, I grew up. I caught the tail end of the '70s and into the '80s, and it doesn't matter what genre of music you prefer. Dolly Parton is someone who was, as you said, influential to all artists who pursued the music career. You can feel. That through music you could see the samples, you could see that people were inspired by her. So it is a loss of the music world, it's a loss of the world, period. But yeah, obviously, thoughts and prayers to her and her family. Hopefully, I mean, the world is a little dark now that she's gone, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll see tributes, and we'll see people covering her songs, or even people sampling more of her library, so that her music continues forward, even though we are no longer able to enjoy her as a person.
yeah, yeah. It'll definitely come about, and she's someone too that like sure country was her thing, but her songs she was one of the earliest like country artists to transition over into like the popular music categories and stuff too, to where her songs would cross over onto other um other radio stations and other formats, and just I think I remember seeing some interview with her in the 80s too, where she was asked about I forget what band, but she it was just like, oh, I like them. I like the heavy metal guys. I like the punk rock guys. I even like the hip hop guys. I like to listen to a lot of music, and like she was just like so cheery and so happy, like.
Well, I mean, I think that's a
Yeah,
sign. That's a sign of a really good artist. Like, I forgot who said it. There was I was watching an interview and it was Vincent D'Onofrio, and he
yeah,
said he gave advice to an audience member who asked him a question. He's like, "Listen, the way that you become great at your craft is by exposing yourself to the arts. If you want to be an actor, you go and you watch movies, you go to plays, you go to performances, you even go to like poetry readings, and not just stuff that's relevant today, but you go back and through history and read the early stuff, read the upcoming stuff, look at the stuff that's not so well known. And you know what? I think Dolly Parton, obviously was doing that with those comments of that she loves the hip hop, she loves the heavy metal guys and the punk rock guys or whatever. And I'm pretty sure at some point, if you're involved, especially in the music industry, Dolly Parton, whether you know it or not, influenced you in some way. Whether
yeah,
it's you listened to a song, or maybe you took a piece of one of her songs and orchestrated something around it, or you built something around it. You know, her influences, I'm sure, is something that has been felt and will continue to be felt throughout years to come.
yeah. And then she's got Dollywood too, like Dollywood,
Mhm.
her own little park, that they
Mhm.
will always keep on going, um, and various foundations that she like contributed to and stuff. Yeah, she one of a kind, once in a lifetime
Mhm.
kind of an artist. Yeah. Um, but yeah, outside of the Dolly, rest in peace, old gal. Um, talk a little bit about some movie stuff, related to the Marvel gang too, and also also the DC gang as well. I just started watching Lanterns. That came out,
Okay.
the Green Lantern series, that and
Mhm.
really cool, really interesting. They're kind of like taking almost like kind of the same aspects of like the True Detective series,
Okay.
and the way that they have Hal Jordan and oh, why am I forgetting his name?
John Stewart.
John Stewart. Yeah, as teacher and pupil, and they're trying to solve this alien crime that's happened in a small town. That there's a lot of really interesting, cool, different little takes that they do with it, and also having uh, a take on a superhero like Hal Jordan. They kind of show him doing an interview in like the early 90s, when he first like became famous, being Green Lantern, and he's like wearing his costume in the interview and stuff. And then by the time the series starts, he's very much a loner, very high on himself, um very Mr. Know-It-All about everything. And
Mhm.
you kind of see it though, because he's able to do a great performance in the idea of that he is performing a Hal Jordan that he is beaten up and broken down, and he has been doing this for so goddamn long. He doesn't want to wear the costume anymore. You know, he just wants to.
It sounds it actually sounds a little bit like a Lethal Weapon formula, where
Yeah,
Hal Jordan is
it
being
is.
portrayed as what's his name? Not Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, where he's like,
Yeah,
I'm too
it
old
is.
for this shit.
Very much so. And also he's training John Stewart, which the Guardians have never asked to do before. And in this universe, Hal Jordan is the first Green Lantern from Earth, the first human Green Lantern, um, and his origin dates back to the original of Purple Alien. I forget in Sabanor or something like that. No, it's not in
Yeah.
Sabanor. That's Flips. Um, but he
No, I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name.
yeah. But he talks about that, which and it kind of revolves back to like maybe why it end up happening like that. But then like he's also kind of questioning like the Guardians have never had a Green Lantern train a prospective Green Lantern. Like the ring always chooses its next host. So why are they having Hal Jordan, the first human Green Lantern from Earth, same guy who stopped Sinestro, which they do introduce Sinestro in a jail cell at the end of the second episode, um, and and kind of why he's having to train John Stewart, and this John Stewart too. It's I'm so used to the John Stewart from the DC animated universe from the Batman Tim vs Justice League, um, voiced by same dude Phil Lamar, um, voiced
Lamar,
by
Lamar, Phil Lamar, something like that.
yeah Phil Lamar voiced him in the animated series, in the Justice League TV shows and everything like that. And so I'm so used to
Mm-hmm.
him being that all American, blue quasi go getter that's all also ready to like stand back and kind of question everything. And they kind of do that too with this John Stewart, but like his opening scene involving his dad um, and his brothers, you can see that there's a real military structure, but also psycho level of trust um, that that him and his father have with one another. He takes him out back and plays William Tell with him after he catches him watching the interview with Hal Jordan, um, and, uh, and and so it's he's a very dark, um, like plain matter of fact. I really don't like Hal Jordan, but I have to be around him. Kind of a guy, and he gets into his whole own shit, um, into himself too in the second episode. But really, really interesting. And
Well,
coming
I mean,
off
if
of
you look at if you look at the two characters, right? If you look at the two
yeah,
characters, and I'm going based on more of the TV shows rather than the comics. So if there's anybody out there that's watching the stream, and they know more about the comic book end of things, you can feel free to chime in, leave your
mhm,
comments. But going from the TV shows, Hal Jordan um, was always a little more like the way I figure the way best way I could describe him is like Tom Cruise's character in Top Gun Maverick. Fly by the seat of your pants, think on your feet, not exactly play by authorities rules. He's always questioning
Yeah,
the rules, always pushing the limit. And
and
John
and that and that's what
Stewart,
you definitely get.
yeah, and John Stewart has been this military guy who was in the military, who was overseas. He was in the middle of war. He has his the way of doing things, the way that he was taught in the military. So he's very sharp. He's very like what Hal Jordan's wild card. He's more of a by the book character.
Yeah,
Don't get me
Jon Stewart
wrong.
is more by the book. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. When shit hits the fan, if he needs to break a few rules, he will do it to make sure that everyone that he's defending is safe. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
he will say it's like by go the rules to save the little guy.
Hmm. And also, they are kind of harking on the fact that like because also I do know from the comics that John Stewart was like a Green Lantern that had like a special connection to it, that he was like extremely intricate with his constructs and stuff that he would do, and they focus on that in the second episode, that that Hal gives him the ring and he has him like make a construct and it's a little bird. And then he gives him back the ring
Okay.
and the bird sticks around. He's still able to maintain the construct without the ring. And Hal's just kind of like, oh, huh. And then some of the people that he encounters in the second episode that know about the lanterns and the people that that are involved are like, dude, you can keep a construct going without a ring? You don't understand. That's like unheard of. Like that's rare among your kind. And so it's interesting too how they've only showcased like X amount of like the ring of power and stuff. Like he stops an explosion with one. You see him how Jordan fly with it a couple times, and then just really the bird construct. Um, so it's really interesting in how they're not harping on the powers. They're really doing character driven murder mystery story. Um, and it's great, especially coming off of Supergirl, which I don't know that. Did you see Supergirl?
No, I didn't get a chance to see Supergirl. I heard mixed reviews on it. I heard it was not as great as the Superman film. I heard it was still a great watch, but not as well received as the last Superman movie.
Um, the watch the honest trailers that they did on Supergirl. Um, they show there's like 5 specific scenes from from Supergirl that are shot for shot same exact scenes out of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like shot for shot, line for line, 5 different scenes that are all straight from Guardians of the Galaxy. And people were like, going into it, people were like, this looks like a James Gunn movie. And the director the whole time's being like, no, he's letting me do what he wants. Sure, he's giving me cliff notes every single day on what I'm shooting. But watching it,
I mean, listen,
it is a very James Gunn rip-off kind of a movie. And I also think it's too early into this extended universe that they're trying to build up to have a Supergirl character that they don't really showcase at all. And for most of the movie, like shit is playing to the sun. And then also in the 48 hours that she has to save Crypto and help this little girl get revenge, she changes her mind like 4 or 5 different times on doing the whole shit. And it's very.
I mean, what teenager? But,
Yeah.
but what
Go
teenager
ahead.
do you know that doesn't go back and forth between wanting to do something and not wanting to do something? Well, it's it's a teenager, all right. And the thing is, to me,
Yeah.
honestly, Supergirl was not high up on my radar to go watch. It would have been fun to watch. I would have had my fun to do it, but honestly, I think more people were interested in seeing Jason Momoa pull off Lobo. I think that was one of the big key draws.
And it was a key draw, into it there. But for at this point, like that's another thing they kind of do in the honest trailers of Supergirl kind of nails it. They kind of fucking shit on it in the right way, because they like he's at this point, Jason Momoa is casted as Jason Momoa. Like, and this is really what, and that's really what is kind of shown in Lobo. And that he's 100% right. That is the character he should have been casted as in the very first place. They should have never given him Aquaman. They should have never done all that shit. They should have just given him fucking Lobo.
Listen, first off, let's get something straight. Let's get something straight. Even though he wasn't the cookie cutter, blonde hair, blue eyes, Arthur Curry Aquaman that we came to love from the 80s, um, I think he did a great job with Aquaman. He fucking shot it out the park. It was a different direction, different look. And I know
Yeah,
there's a lot of people like, that's not Aquaman. Aquaman is, clean cut and fuck, listen,
yeah,
new era, new things. I think he did a
yeah.
great
Zero
job.
to hit.
Shout out to Jason Momoa for knocking that one out of the park. Although DC did stumble with the sequel. I thought it was like a worthless piece of gutter trash.
Yeah,
They took everything that was fun from the first film and they failed to build upon that. They failed to make an entertaining movie. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
I agree.
and I think that comes also I think that also comes from the pressure of them ending that DCEU era of films. They were
Yeah,
hard rebooting the whole system, and that movie came way too late. They were just rushing it to get it out.
yeah, yeah. And it goes along with other WB controversies too, which the Acme movie
Yeah,
that's supposed to be out. That was one of the movies that, along with Batgirl, they shelved, and because they shelved it, they got a tax kickback. But then I don't know the name of the company. I forget the name of the production company that came out, and they just bought it. They bought the movie and they're releasing it. But that's clamoring for people to also do the same thing with Batgirl.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
of like, look, like, if a company comes through and pay it, because it was only 30 million that they got. They only got 30 million. It didn't even cover and recoup costs um of making the movie. Um, that one in particular is one that I would really enjoy to see, especially just because of Brendan Fraser's take on Firefly. Um, he does an interview with Howard Stern that he did last year, right after the movie had gotten shelved, and he talks about
mm-hmm.
how his character of Firefly, in the comics, he was just like a random crazy burn victim that was a pyromaniac. Like it wasn't more fleshed out in that. His version was that he was going to be a
Yeah.
Marine veteran that that was attacked while out on duty, loses his whole crew, and the government doesn't give benefits to him and to his fallen troops and their families.
Yeah, yeah, I remember hearing about those.
And so he goes on a rampage against the government and against the corporations that were in charge of the weapons that were used on him. And so he has this whole really dark but like semi heroic take on Firefly that's never been done in the comics or anything like that. And especially coming like as a movie producer, I'm thinking, especially with the test screenings all coming back really positive. You got Brendan Fraser coming off an Academy Award win, giving you a performance that he helped construct and do. Like that's money to me right there. Um,
Yep.
so I really do not see other than they were hide and tail because of the whole merger going on. Why they wouldn't necessarily do it, but also because of the oncoming stuff with James Gunn. But like even James Gunn has come out and said he's like, that wasn't a decision made by me. If it was my decision, I would totally have released that movie. And if they give us an option to do it, I would totally still release that movie and try to incorporate it somehow. I think riding on the Acme success of how successful the Acme movie coming out is, which just from online, I've seen, tons of people just on board to go see it just to kind of say fuck you to WB,
Listen, I would go watch this Acme movie just to see one of those Acme executives give like a "you can't handle the truth" type of speech in the middle of a deposition. Like I think that would be
Yeah,
priceless. That would be
which
priceless. I mean,
that's apparently the way they're kind of going with this too, and John Cena had came out in support of it because he's in the movie too, and he was like, I was so upset when this first got shelved. Like, go see this movie, please. It's so funny.
yeah, I
So
mean, look, you have a character in Wile E. Coyote who thankfully has not been shelved himself, kind of like Pepe Le Pew, which not for nothing, we have to get over shit, guys. I'm not downplaying if you get, you're in your feelings and you get offended by certain things. I get this. But Pepe Le Pew, for example, is a character that's been around for more than 50 years. Pepe Le Pew was a characterization that was making fun of French men back in that time. All right. And yes, I
mhm.
understand that, being creepy and being, sexually harassing people is a no-no. It's definitely not something you should do. But this was a cartoon, a character. And if you got all up in your emotions, you know what? Build some thick skin. It's a cartoon. Get over it.
and,
Okay? For
and
those of you, for those of you,
also you have to rest on the premise too that like every single one of his cartoons is the premise that a black cat got white paint on its fucking back.
mm-hmm, true,
So
true.
it's a skunk going after a cat.
And again, if you and if yeah, So again, guys, if you have been harassed or offended by something like this, or you've gone through, it's a cartoon. You know what? I
Yeah.
feel for you, but it's a cartoon. It is ink and paper. It was meant for humor, and sometimes things grow out of they don't stand the test of time. But you know what? The Looney Tunes characters, for the most part, hey, you know what? You drop an anvil on somebody's head, it's always funny.
I also know that humor and comedy um, goes through cycles.
Hmm.
It goes through cycles of uh, politically correct versus not politically correct,
Hmm.
and I was born in '86. You were born when?
77.
'77. So between me and you, we have gone through one, two, three, four, five, and we're currently in the midst
Five
of
time. Five
six.
time. Five time.
Yeah, yeah. Of like a PC politically correct comedic shift. Um, South Park, called it out back right before the Me Too movement started. And they had PC principal, and they had the PC principal college, and they were like storming the field, and the farmers are there, and it's Trey and Bill Hader as their
Hmm.
farmer characters, being like, "Watch that coming through. Watch another PC storm come through. How long was the last one? About 4 or 5 years. Probably be another 4 or 5 years on this one. Yep." And that was in 2015. And then we went through Me Too. And then 2020 happened. And then people started a lot of not giving a shit about politically correct culture um, again. And now we're kind of in that quasi midst of it again, to where the most popular comedy show that's out there is Kill Tony,
Hmm.
and he is in line with Joe Rogan and them, that they have this kind of gridlock on the Austin comedy scene that plenty of other comedians have been speaking out about it, and also have actively like not been seeking invitation from the show because because if you I think I forget what comedian said it, and was like, look, if you just come up with a joke that has a racial slur, something about mentally ill people, and something about trans people in it, Tony will love you. Just mention those three things in a fucking joke, and Tony will love it, even if it's a bad fucking joke. Because if it has those three premises, he'll love it. But
Listen, here's the
it's
thing.
true to a degree. It's only true
Here's
to a degree.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I could have a normal conversation, and it doesn't have to like we're having a one-on-one, you and I right now, right?
Yeah,
I could say something that's so off hinge, and we'll have a laugh about it, but somebody else will hear it and they'll get offended. Okay?
yeah,
Listen, I'm not here to protect your feelings. I'm not here to protect, how you feel about things. That's your business. If I offend you, then you should have minded your own business. Okay?
yeah,
Because I am at this point having a one-on-one with Lash. The fact that we're actually streaming and Lord knows who's watching. If you have a comment, you're more than welcome to your opinion. You're more than welcome to comment and post and tell me, Gus, go fuck yourself. I was offended by that joke that you made about the evil bisexual monkey from outer space that was humping a midget. Whatever. Okay,
Pepe Le Pew's in the room with me right now.
It doesn't matter. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. Again, when we say things, we do have to police ourselves. However, you also have to take into context who we're saying it to. You have to take into context when we're saying it. You're take into context, like, the subject matter that we're talking about. You know what I mean? That's why I love stand-up comedy. They have free reign. They can say everything and anything. And yes, there are people that get offended. There are people that get offended. They try to interject themselves into shows and they get mauled by the comedian who's working them. Or sometimes they even leave.
Yeah.
Listen, the thing is, we live in a country. We live in a country, even though right now it's not at the greatest as point in history, but technically we should be allowed to say what we want, how we want, when we want, about who we want, or about for government. Like, I'll be the first one to say, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of haters. I fucking hate Trump. I fucking hate him to the core.
Mhm.
Okay, there are people that they think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you know what?
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to disagree with you. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Okay. But
Mhm.
back to what we're talking about. Um, Damn, what were we talking about? We went off
We were kind of
on a
talking
tangent
about
here.
the PC, yeah, about PC, like a comedy and stuff, and then the Austin comedy scene in general having this stigma of weirdom to it, to like apparently the green room at the comedy mothership is a very weird fucking green room. Like they have apparently a couple of Navy SEALs that are security guard guys there, that they are not really funny and not really into jokes. Um, that they kind of put a weirdness into the room, and that like the ideas of the room and stuff, that there's almost a semi peer pressure, especially if Rogan is around, of trying out whatever drugs that they have. Um, and and it comes and goes. There's a lot of different comedians that have said that stuff, but then there's also some comedians that have said that, like, I don't know what they're talking about. The green room's fun. Like, there, I have a good time, but they're also a part of that whole pack of Joe Rogan's guys. That it's only now that most of them are starting to backtrack on fucking backing Trump, and and so it's like, yeah, well, you guys kind of went out, it had all this immense popularity behind yourselves, and then went and sided with fucking orange spray pedo guy, so yeah. Like, people are gonna have their apprehensions, man.
Yeah, they are. They are, and like I said, people are entitled to their opinions. Your opinions are not going to hurt me unless you're planning on putting money in my pocket so I could pay my rent and keep a roof over my head and put food on my table. Then I'll worry about your opinions. But until then, your opinions don't mean shit to me. You're entitled to them. You're entitled to express them. I encourage you to express them. Obviously, if you're going to express things, please be respectful when doing so that you respect other people's opinions. It goes both ways. I'm going to respect your opinion. If you think Trump should go for another like 4 years beyond this next term, and he should be like
I
the
will. I
eternal
will
god
totally
to your
respect your
that's
opinion.
your business. You're entitled to that. But when I tell you that I think he's an idiot and I think he should be like walk off a short pier, then that I'm entitled for that opinion as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, me on the other hand, I will tell you to go fuck yourself on your opinion. If you like Donald Trump, fuck
And
you. I
you're
don't
more
like.
than welcome. And you're more than welcome to tell me to go fuck myself.
Yeah, I come from a different perspective, but I respect Gus and I respect his perspective. You know, and yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
enough about them. I think everybody should go out and see Acme, um, because if that movie does good in the box office, that'll shoehorn a lot of these other WB projects that were scrapped for tax purposes. To maybe get a company to come through and be like, hey, we want to buy it. So I think that's a good thing. Going on to movies and trailers and stuff, they had released a Doomsday trailer just under a month ago, and then they did like a second follow up one just about like a week ago. And then
I haven't seen the
today,
new trailer. I've not seen the new trailer, but um, yeah, I haven't seen the new trailer, but the original one that I saw, it looks good. It looks really good. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what's going to go on, where they're going to take the MCU. I know they're talking about introducing some of the new X-Men characters coming in. As you already know, if you guys haven't seen it, we got our first peek at one of the X-Men in the Spider-Man film that just came out last month. Well, it's almost last month. So yeah, no,
which
last month, July 31st. July
just
31st.
it just beat Endgame. Um, no, it beat Infinity War. Um, just a couple days ago. Um, I think
Yeah.
I think Infinity War it was 2.1 billion that it made, and Brand New Day is at 2.2. And
Damn.
it's I mean it's just stock proof of a few things. One is it gives good ledger along with the Superman movie, and the Fantastic Four movie, that there isn't necessarily superhero fatigue. There's fatigue from bad superhero stories movies. Um,
Agreed. Agreed.
and and also proving once again, this is the 11th Spider-Man movie, um, and it's made the most money out of all of them.
Wait, we
You
have
know,
hold on. We have the three Tobey Maguire films, the two Garfield movies, the actor, not the cat, guys.
yeah,
We have now four Spider-Man. So that's what? That's
yeah,
nine.
and then the Spider
The
Verse,
animated
the
the Spider
Spider
Verse.
Verse,
So yeah, 11. You're right. Damn, I didn't think it was that many. Shit.
yeah, 11 Spider-Man movies.
And
Um,
they're already talking about introducing Miles Morales into the main MCU.
yeah, which I think that's gonna be after Secret Wars, which I'm glad that that's another thing too that the Spider-Man movie does, is that it is serving as a good precursor for what potential the oncoming MCU has. Um,
Yeah.
and in the fact that Sadie Sink's Jean Grey there, great take. She did a great job. Um, to go from the girl who she was introduced in the second season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Um, her her and her brother, who her brother, I loved his fucking semi romance with what's his name's fucking mom. The fucking flirtation scenes, those were just, that right there to me is just prime. That was the best, like one of the funniest things from Stranger Things. He was also the Red Ranger in the Power Rangers.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
which that Power Rangers movie really wasn't that bad. Um,
I'm 50-50 on that Power Rangers movie. I think the
yeah,
biggest gripe that I have, I think Goldar was a waste. They wasted
yeah,
Goldar. Goldar was honestly, I watched some of the Power Rangers when I was a kid. Goldar was my favorite villain on there. Just I
yeah.
mean, and for them to make him this blob of melting like gold, I'm like, what? That's
Yeah,
not Goldar. Like, make
yeah,
him a swordsman. Make
yeah, and especially when you had Elizabeth Banks really hamming up Rita Repulsa, which I liked. That's one thing. It's initially I was kind of like, well, Elizabeth Banks. I was like, but she can make it funny, silly, and she did, and she did like a performance that I would expect Elizabeth Banks to do. I don't know.
I
I've
think
just always
one.
had a. I'm a
I
sucker
think
for
one of the
her.
worst
So
things. One of the worst things, honestly, was Alpha Five.
yeah,
I found him to be so annoying.
yeah,
I honestly wanted to kick him in the nuts.
yeah. Um, but yeah, Sadie Sink to go from the girl that I was just kind of iffy about her performances in her first two seasons of that show. I was kind of like about her and her character's performance, but then in the last two seasons, I thought she did really well. Um, and and I thought she did a great Jean Grey. But the other thing that movie really did too is help solidify the character of Punisher, and also help solidify John Barenthal. John Barenthal, he's gonna be like Hugh Jackman, where he's gonna have to play Punisher until he's like 90.
You know what?
um,
I gotta give it to John Bernthal. He wasn't this uh throughout the history of the Punisher on screen, he has always been, depicted as this hard stone chiseled emotionless character. And when I say emotionless, I don't mean that he didn't have emotions, or like he didn't have a focus point. It's just that he was always shown to be angry. He was always in a
that
rage.
was
He
it.
was always fueled by that. And in this
Yeah, that was
film, he had some key moments where it was like that moment where Peter was like, "Are you crying?" He's like, "No, I ain't crying, fucker."
it.
Like, for him to be that vulnerable just added to the layer of what the Punisher is. And then for him to have fun putting on the Spidey mask, I
Yeah,
was dying when he was waving to the crowd and like dancing and whatever. I was dying because
yeah,
that's not the Punisher I'm used to seeing. But John Bernthal, at least, especially with his take in the Netflix series, how he was just this hardcore, just
that
like
first
killing
season.
everything. You've never seen it, bro?
No, I no that no no yeah no. I'm just saying that first season, especially, is just so fucking good. I like the series in general,
Hmm.
but the first season to me,
Just look at
it,
the.
it's perfect.
I mean, just look at the prison scene where he's having that fight, where he's just killing
Oh yeah,
everybody,
Daredevil. Yeah,
bro. Yes, yes.
Woo!
But for him to go
Woo!
from that level of intensity and anger and violence to this moment where he just was so vulnerable because he cared for Peter, because Peter is his friend, that to me was like, all right, this is a different Punisher. We're still gonna get the violent Punisher, but we know that underneath it, underneath that hard exterior armor is a little bit of a heart.
It almost tunes a bit more to one the animated the Spider-Man animated series Punisher, um,
Hmm.
where he was kind of jokey. He was kind of he was a little like, okay, webhead, like just like he, because when he was first coming after like Spider-Man, he was just like, hey man, it's a job, like the in the animated series. But also
Yeah, I have to go back and watch that because I never took that Punisher as a joke. Like I never took like I
not a
I
joke.
believe you. I believe you, and maybe I didn't take it that way. Maybe I didn't read it as like, yeah, webhead, because everybody was calling him, Spider-Man webhead or web slinger or whatever, right? Um,
Yeah,
but I think that was. I mean, I guess I gotta go back
they
and look
did
at
have
it.
more of a, that was like a more attuned to like, because that's how they end up being in the comics too. And on that, and on the show, is they end up kind of being buddy buddy a little bit, because Pete, because I remember it's like, it's similar to one of my favorite scenes, but there is like a part in the animated series where like he talks about like Spider-Man's like, I understand why you do what you do,
Yeah,
but you have to understand me and what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to let you kill anybody. And he was just kind of like, okay, like I get it. Um, and but my personal favorite scene of anything that Marvel has done um, is in the second season of the original Daredevil series,
okay.
when Punisher first comes in, um, and he captures Daredevil and he has him tied up, and the episode is spent with them on a rooftop.
Yes, I
Um,
remember this.
and the guy and the like one of the super to the property comes up, and he has like threatening to kill him and everything like that. But it's before then when they get into it's like a 5 minute long scene there where they just get into the fundamental debate of heroism and killing people,
Yeah,
and 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 where Daredevil uh, uh, is standing with truth, justice, put them away. And Punisher is like, you put them away, they get back out, they do the same thing. When I put them down, they stay down. And and their their scene of them having this debate, that to me is the best scene, written wise and performance, in all Marvel. I think because it is the most fundamental scene related to the idea of what is good and what is bad of being a hero. And they nail it in 5 minutes. It's really fucking good. Daredevil in general, is just really fucking good.
yeah,
I was looking forward to them continuing the series, and everything. Broke my heart that they kill fucking uh
Foggy.
yeah, Foggy, that they kill Foggy right out the gate. Broke my heart because I love Foggy Nelson as a character. So I am a big Daredevil fan. When that first season came out, I was also reading the comics, and I got this tattoo at a rave. Um, this girl was doing stick and poke tattoos, and I got this done for $20 in 20 minutes. Never had to touch it up or anything like that. She did like 100 tattoos that night. She was crazy. It was awesome. But just the relationship of Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson, to me is like it's like on the level of like Sam and Frodo, of like best friends in a heroism situation, because Foggy in the comics especially comes through a lot for Matt. You know, when he's having to carry the burden of trying to like keep, you know, the city, you know, together, and he's, you know, having to face all these crazy different things. You know, Foggy is his backing cushion, and there's a lot of interesting stories too that involve Foggy, because he's also a great lawyer in the comics too, and Foggy Nelson leads a lot of different initiatives. I'm pretty sure he was one of the lawyers in the Marvel Civil War comics that was fighting against the masked the superhero registration.
Okay.
And he played like a big legal part in that. But but that's me drowning on about that. But the thing I am glad to kind of hear and understand is that really, Doomsday and Secret Wars and the whole reboot thing is not going to ultimately affect Daredevil in them, because they're only so involved. That series is only so involved with the rest of the MCU. Like it's really the Defenders MCU.
Right.
Like it's its own sub MCU, and
Yeah.
and so they plan on keeping the series going, you know, with the same actors and stuff like that, which I'm like, good. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it, because
I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure at some point. I mean, it would be nice to see maybe Tom Holland make a cameo appearance, because let's face it,
yeah,
Spider-Man was a street level character who interacted with Daredevil, and
a
you know
lot.
he interacted with Iron Fist. Actually, if I remember correctly, he trained with Iron Fist. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like.
Iron Fist helps him develop the way of the spider, his spider martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Fist helps him with that. So does Blade and Kung Fu Master.
Oh, such an
Um,
original name.
I know. Yeah, but yeah, he helps him come up with it. I think he helps him come it like it's the way of the spider, and then there's like spider jitsu.
Okay.
um, because of like, yeah, he does have to like make his own kind of style and everything to it, which Taskmaster is able to like duplicate to an extent. I think the only person that Taskmaster can't adapt to is Deadpool, because Deadpool understands how his power works, of analyzing and being able to analyze your moves. And he's so crazy that and knows so many different things that he can just continuously do something different, and Taskmaster can't keep up with him.
Now, what would you say are your predictions um for Doomsday? Like, what is your like if you
So,
were if you were in the director's chair, right?
mhm.
And you had to make decisions to make this film. What would you say are your wants to make this a great film?
um, one, if I was just in charge of anything, I would have written in Doom into the Fantastic Four movie. That's where I would have fucking started, so that we have more. Because my biggest fear and biggest gripe, um, and I know this from leaks, that had happened. And so there was two original test screenings. The first test screening has
Okay.
Victor Von Doom as Tony Stark variant, and that
Okay.
they weren't going with, you know, with him like hearkening to have anything to do really with the Fantastic Four at all. The second test screening that had gotten leaked, and this is the version that is coming out, is that they apparently shoehorn in for like 10, 12 minutes of a scene giving Doom, Reed, and Sue and the like other Fantastic Four members like a slight bit of backstory, and that's it. And this is somewhat confirmed in the trailer that had come out, to where Sue is shoehorning in this. Well, when we knew Victor, you know, he was a good guy, he was smart, he was compassionate, blah blah blah, you know, and then he lost everything, and we don't know what happened, and so I'm kind of a little worried in that they're just gonna give his whole backstory with him and the Fantastic Four like 10 minutes, and that's gonna be it.
I mean, yeah. You know what though? You don't want to give. My problem is that if you look at it, right? Like let's take for example Batman. We all know Batman. He was in crime alley. His parents were killed. He goes around the world training, learning martial arts, magic, detective skills, science, whatever, and he becomes Gotham's vigilante. Right? We
Yeah,
all know this. We've seen it done multiple times. Same thing with Superman. Last son of Krypton. He comes down to Earth, lives with George and Martha Kent, and he's raised to be a good old American boy, and he becomes a news reporter, and then he throws on a red cape and he starts saving the world. Okay?
yeah,
We all know these origins. The
yeah.
Fantastic Four, we've had, if you include the film that was never officially released, you have three different versions of the Fantastic Four. Okay?
And then
Two
the
of
animated
which
series.
have done the origins already. Okay? So do we really need another origin? Do we really need another them telling us that Doom and Reed went to college together and Doom blew off his face and that's why he's wearing that freaking metal plate on his face now? Do we really need to know all this? You know what I
Well, you
mean?
know,
I mean,
it's a relationship though. The relationship the relationship of Reed Richards, Victor Von Doom, if you go back in comics, there's so many goddamn universe changing storylines that basically hinders on these two's frenemy like relationship. And I think that that the movies have fucked up, and that the only things that did it similar was the animated series back in the 90s.
I remember that.
That was honestly the most true to the comics. Um, it's a story that and a character in himself that I hope it isn't really just done in two movies. Like Victor, that's part of the appeal of for me as a fan of Doom is that Doctor Doom really never dies. And the times where he does die, he fakes it because he's smarter than everybody else. And
See, I think the thing is, listen, Doom is a character that Marvel is basically shoving him down our throats. Um,
yeah,
but I think here's the thing. With Thanos, they had God knows how many movies to tease him, to show him, to get the audience ready for the big threat that he was. This one with Doom, they're just really shoving him down our throats. And for those of us who read the comics, or familiar with the cartoons, or familiar with the old movies, we know that Doom is a fucking major threat. We know this.
yeah,
I think the way they're playing it, for lack of a better comparison, I think the way they're playing it is that Doom is going to be such a threat in this film. It's going to be kind of like when the first plane hit 9/11. Like, oh shit, the world stopped what it was doing. Holy fuck, I can't believe this is happening. And then we got smacked again. Okay. Not to be
yeah.
insensitive to anybody, we're coming up on the 9/11 holiday, not to be insensitive about anything like that, but I think
I understand the
the way they're
comparison.
playing Dooms, the way they're playing Doom, it's gonna be one of those things that just hits you hard, like holy shit, I did not see this coming. Like, we know Doom is our main villain, but I mean, look, you got Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom. He already proved that he can play Tony Stark. This is the flip side to this. This is his dark side. This is his Emperor Palpatine to Luke Skywalker.
Hmm.
Okay? I think he's going to knock it out of the park. I think Doom is going to be played in such a way that we will not see it coming. This is one of those things that it's going to be holy, holy crap. Either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. There's going to be no in between.
Yeah, it's just there are things. There's just things from the production standpoint too, and things revolving around that. Like I think from the latest trailers here, but also Vision Quest coming out there, that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
given me some hope. Vision is probably my favorite Marvel character, really. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in the comics, especially. Um, he goes through so many cool different things in the comics. Um, but I think that being the series to kind of set up what's already happened and what's about to happen. I do kind of have my faith in that. Because it's the same people who did WandaVision and Agatha All Along, which I didn't watch Agatha All Along. I've heard to watch it that it's actually really good. I just keep on forgetting. Um, but it gives me hope that maybe they're going the right direction, um, with what they're going to do. And the things production wise that kind of leave me worried is the fact they had 68 actors. 68. There's 68 talking parts in this fucking movie. 68 fucking actors. And they spent almost 8 months filming filming in front of green screens, often without other actors and with no script. And then when they actually finalized and did the script, they brought half of them back for another 6 months of filming. Which leaves me wondering, you have actors like guy who plays Nightcrawler.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name.
He was the first one to kind of leak out how they were filming that, because he's like, I came in for a month of filming. I didn't meet anybody else from the entire cast, and I spent a month in front of a green screen getting different stuff to say every day.
Well, listen, here's the thing. We are now in an era where the green screen is dominating in some shape, form, or form of special effects heavy filming. All right, unless you're doing like Pretty Woman, where you don't need a green screen. Most of your action films are doing green screen, so get over it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, listen, Marvel for the most part has delivered some really solid, some excellent films, some excellent cartoons, some excellent TV shows for the most part. With the exception of like Inhumans, which was a complete fucking mess. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Doomsday is going to deliver. I think it's going to do what it's meant to do. It's going to be the soft reboot for the MCU. It's going to give us fresh faces. It's going to give us introduce us to the mutants, which I mean, technically, Sadie Sink is our introduction to mutants, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great film that we're going to enjoy in December. It's going to be our fun to have in the during the Christmas season. It's gonna be filled with action, and you're gonna see some of your characters that you've been wondering where they've been since we last saw them, like in Shang-Chi, where we haven't seen them since Shang-Chi. We haven't seen the Hulk. Well, we saw the Hulk recently in Spider-Man, but we haven't seen some of these characters since their films. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be nice to see where they've been. It's gonna be nice to see what they're gonna be doing, and it's gonna be nice to see how they're all gonna handle Doom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting. I know one thing. I am not going to go opening weekend, and I won't care about spoilers or anything, because I know, and this goes up along with leaks, LEEKS, which is the group that has been doing these GTA 6 leaks, where they've been showing all the gameplay footage and stuff like that. And apparently another group tied in with them has said that they have Doomsday already. So I think I'm kind of predicting that internet internet troll hackers are going to be internet troll hackers, and that we're going to get a leaked version before it even comes out.
I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen at some point. But you know what? I'm gonna wait for theaters. I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna go enjoy myself. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck?" I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see who cameos. Like at some point with all the speculation. I'm expecting like Grimlock from Transformers to be like, "Oh, sorry, wrong movie."
um, from what I do know, and this has been out, leaked out for a little bit now too, is that the opening scene is supposed to have one of these convergence scenes, and it involves Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, another version of Doctor Strange.
Bring back Shuma Gorath.
And also too, there's been speculation over the four masked people that are seen in the trailers that are supposed to be Doom's acolytes, who they possibly are. One of them being possibly Scarlet Witch, another one being Charlize Theron's character that was at the end of the last Doctor Strange movie.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is Agatha, from Agatha All Along, which apparently doesn't make sense because she's apparently dead.
No one stays dead in the Marvel universe for too long.
Yeah, that's that's basically what I was about to say. And then Wiccan, who they're supposed to, they've already shown Wiccan and Speed in the Vision Quest trailers, which they got Rami
Well,
Malek.
listen.
Yeah. Oh, you got to go. Yep.
Yeah, I got to get going, but we'll talk more.
Absolutely. Let's shoot for Thursday. See if we can't get those other two in on it.
Well, Thursday, I know I'm not going to be here because I'm going to be overseas. So.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm flying down to Florida, and then we're hopping on a cruise ship. So hitting Cozumel, Jamaica, and the Grand Cayman Islands.
Fuck yeah. Take pics, dance with some beautiful ladies again.
Will do. All right, brother. Have a good night.
Good trip.
Peace.